This conference will now be recorded.
Well, good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us on the Nacogdoches Chamber Stakeholder Conference call sponsored by BERT. You may have just heard that we are recording this call and we've invited our media friends to join us. For our regular attendees, I know you are used to seeing our Chamber President and CEO Wayne Mitchell opening the call. We plan to have Wayne back very soon, but for today, I'm going to do my best to lead us through this hour of information and updates. I'm Kelly Augustine, a staff member of the Nacogdoches County Chamber. Today's call will begin with a special presentation by the President and CEO of Texas Forest Country Partnership, Nancy Windham. The partnership is made up of 12 counties, including Nacogdoches. Its mission is to enrich the economic and well-being of rural East Texas through marketing, business development, and advocacy. TFCP's focus is in areas of advanced manufacturing, forest and wood products, healthcare, and tourism. Ms. Windham is well known in our East Texas area and across the state and the U.S. Now, I can say that while working with Ms. Windham, it didn't take long to realize that she has a passion for prosperity and growth for our region in all that economic development encompasses: business retention, acquisition, education, training, workforce development, and resource development, just to name a few. Ms. Windham will touch on her background in her presentation, so I can't brag on her involvement with Texas Economic Development Council and the Southern Economic Development Council, the EDCs in Frisco, Nacogdoches, and Lufkin, and the Governor's Office Texas One program. And speaking of the Governor's Office, Governor Greg Abbott appointed Ms. Windham to the Texas Economic Development Corporation, to the Podiatric Medical Examiners Advisory Board, and most recently to the Board of Regents for Stephen F. Austin State University. Her education includes studies at great institutions like Stephen F. Austin State University, Texas A&M University, and the University of Oklahoma. Here's a fun fact. Nancy is featured as a Lone Star Lady in Texas Women Trailblazers, Shining Stars, and Cowgirls. But what could be considered her most notable accomplishment is her achievement of a lifetime membership with the Nacogdoches County Chamber of Commerce. And I know she's going to give us more information about that. So at this time, please join me in welcoming TFCP President and CEO Nancy Windham.
Thanks, Kelly. I guess when you get as old as I am and you've stayed in the same profession for about 36 years, there are a lot of people that I've had the privilege of meeting and getting to know. Before I go to my first slide, though, thanks for the opportunity to do this. Nacogdoches County is where I was born and raised. It has always been my home, regardless of wherever I lived. Regardless of how big the city was, I have always had a big place in my heart for rural Texas, for rural communities. So with that said, I appreciate it, and I will move forward with the presentation. I'm going to kind of give an overview of what the partnership is. Kelly touched on a lot of that, but I wanted to share with you, most of you on this call, maybe some of you remember, some of it you don't. I'm going to have a bunch of older photographs, and the reason I'm using those is because I began my career by volunteering with the Nacogdoches Chamber of Commerce, and without the leadership and the guidance and the mentors and the help from that from the chamber and all of the different businesses, I could honestly say I don't believe I would have been able to have accomplished and experienced as much as I have to this day. So with that said, we're going to go right into the first slide. In order to capture a city, first you have to capture the heart of the people. I've recently been going through boxes of memorabilia, and I save everything. And this is a handwritten note from Judy McDonald. I even called her and asked her if she wanted to defend herself, she needed to be on this call. But she was notorious, along with a lot of other people, for sitting down and writing handwritten notes. And Judy was one of the very beginning, the people that took my hand and showed me the ropes as a young professional there in Nacogdoches. And she's just sending me these notes. I thought that would be a great way to start in with these photographs. And if this tells you what date this is back in the 80s. Sandy Morrow was Gary Morrow's sister. She worked with me at the Department of Commerce when he was head of the Texas Department of Agriculture. These are some old photographs in Nacogdoches I thought you would enjoy seeing. I want to brag on Janelle Ashley and then Dr. Hallman. Both he and Patsy were very instrumental, and so was Dr. Ashley in helping me develop my skills. And I can't say enough on how this group of people have molded and held up and structured Nacogdoches County. Now, this was your A team back in the day, back in the 80s. Jarvis Ammons, Mayor Mangum, Sydney Abegg, Judy, and Nancy Speck, and staff person. They would always come to Austin, and they were always knocking on doors for Nacogdoches County. And that's what it's going to take, is teamwork for everybody to be together. But I thought you would enjoy some of these photographs. At this particular time is when I was working for the East Texas Regional Chamber before they merged to form the state chamber. There's Dr. Ashley. There's a lot of good curls and big hair. And then this one, I don't know if you can see all of it, but yeah. Roger, Betty Shin, Patsy and Leon Hallman. And this is the year that I received the honorary life member in the Nacogdoches Chamber. Johnny Johnson took me under wing and said, Nancy, if you sell X number of chamber memberships, you get this plaque. But if you sell over and beyond that, and he gave me the amount, then we get to go to Las Vegas. So guess what? That's why I have an honorary membership to the chamber. But I do covet that. It is something I'm very proud of, and it is a wonderful investment to make in the community. So that's a little bit about a background, but I will always be indebted to the people in Nacogdoches County back then for helping mold my steps as I formed my career. And I would encourage each of you to reach out and mentor a young leader, mentor a school child, mentor someone to help them, give them a hand up, not a handout, but a hand up, because it will make a difference in our world moving forward. So let's talk about the partnership. We're 61 years old now. Those are the 12 counties that we represent. It is the same 12 counties as the DP Texas Council of Governments. We are officing in the DECCOG office that's located on Kurth Drive in Lufkin. We have about 94 members. We have 33 board of directors. 27 of those represent single counties. We have 6 ex officio members. Those are made up by our Angelina County Small Business Development Center, and I believe Diane is on the call. I believe she's on the agenda today as well. DECCOG, Stephen F. Austin State University, the Forestry Association, and the Deep East Texas Workforce Solutions. Those are our ex officio members on the board, and they have voting rights. We have 2 staff. It's myself and Tanya Dora, our Director of Economic Development. We have 3 standing committees. And after our strategic plan, we have 4 focused areas. That's advanced manufacturers, healthcare, tourism, forest, and wood products. We have strategy advisors that give us reports on those particular industries every other month. Okay, there it goes. Just a makeup of our board, our advisors, and our staff. You can take a look at that list. It goes from a banker to a chamber person. Wayne Mitchell and Ian Gibson are our 2 Nacogdoches County board members. we're going to be, and I think I've mentioned this on a call before, expand our chamber involvement in bringing more of those groups together to help each other. So that's just a list of what we have. We have 5 county judges. We have both SFA and Angelina College. Also on our webpage, you'll find where you can get regional demographics, not only for the region, but you can get it for each of your individual counties. And that is real-time demographics that's provided by GIS planning. These are our 4 focused areas: advanced manufacturing, healthcare, forest and wood products, and tourism. Dale Polencritis, who heads up the Texas Forest Trail, is our tourism advisor. Rob Hughes with the Texas Forestry Association is our forest and wood products. Sid Roberts is with healthcare, and then advanced manufacturing is Malcolm Deason that covers advanced manufacturing. The photo with the mask, that's part of your COVID-19 call center there in Nacogdoches. They received the Small Business Development Award this year that we call the Do-Gooder Award, and that they did an excellent job providing services to everyone, which y'all are all very familiar with. We're very proud of that. I believe the bottom left is an SFA photograph, and this covers our focus areas. Our program of work, we'll have some workshops. Some will provide information on just basic office support. We're hoping to have a logistics and transportation workshop, and then another workshop conducted by the Governor's Office of Economic Development and the Texas Economic Development Council. As you know, we have an annual summit. This year we'll go back to recognizing 12 of our small businesses and have a Silver Bucket Award. And then we are constantly helping people with different studies and surveys, doing reports and assessments. And we provide city and county assistance when needed, when there is a project to be worked, or is there a program that we can be of assistance. We are very involved with some of the site selection projects that come our way. Some of the counties don't. You know, Larissa is a professional economic development. You have a full staff there that handles that. When we could be of assistance, we're ready. Most of our counties, we have 7 counties that do not even have a professional economic development person to help work those. So on a regional basis, we assist in those counties when needed. We're creating a database of land sites and marketing those out beyond our borders with site selectors and developers. It's somewhat difficult as in a rural area to find all of the available land sites and available buildings that they are looking for. But anybody that has some property or an option on some opportunities, if they could just send it our way, we would be appreciated. The top left picture is taken from the East Texas Manufacturing Alliance. It's the Manufacturing Day. It was held at the Expo Center here in Nacogdoches. Was very well attended. Those are all high school students from area schools. And of course, you recognize the bottom, that's the I-69 corridor, and we're looking forward to being more involved in the development of that corridor. We'll be talking, and we have been talking to several groups of landowners along that way, hopefully bring it all the way in from the San Jacinto, all the way it goes to Shelby County, those counties involved. And Nacogdoches and Angelina are the 2 biggest and main counties on that development area. This is just a list. I'm not going to go through all of them individually, but we are always maintaining relationships with all of our national, state, local officials and our agencies. You'll see some pictures in a little bit. We finally are getting out of the office and down to Austin to meet with some of those agencies. Of course, SFA, always big supporter, and I guess we'll get more involved in what's going on with SFA now. in a different avenue. So Angelina College, all of our school districts, the part of the East Texas Manufacturing Alliance brings in the school districts. I know we're all working on the broadband initiatives, working with our chambers of commerce, all of our utilities, all of our partners here that are listed. But a couple I wanted to expand on a little bit more. Listed at the bottom is the Texas Forestry Association, and then the Texas Forest Trail Region, the East Texas Manufacturing Alliance, TEDC. But let me explain a little bit about what the Texas Rural Funders are. A couple of years ago, the Meadows Foundation, the Temple Foundation, there's several foundations throughout Texas that came together and decided that they wanted to invest more money in rural projects. And not knowing exactly what those needs were, they called together a group of practitioners, and the partnership was one, Texas Forest Venture Partnership was one of those. So we went to Austin and met with them, and that's when the focus on broadband came out from that group. Well, the practitioner side now is called the Texas Rural Practitioners. It is a very active and growing group, and I'm proud to say that our region is very well represented with those. We do have a voice. We do come to the plate to stand up for what rural Texas is all about, and it is beginning to make a difference, and we're very pleased to do that. So all of you that are participating with the partnership are a part of moving rural Texas forward. And I had to put this slide in there, talking about partnerships. A couple of years ago, we worked with Dr. Bisbing. Dr. Bisbing is our contact for the ex officio position for Stephen F. Austin University. And he connected us with a professor there at Stephen F. Austin on the marketing. It was a graduate class that took us on as a project. And they presented multiple options for us for a marketing plan. Some of those items we have used moving forward, and we'll continue to do that. But I wanted to brag on SFA on that one. This is one of our most recent trips to Austin, where we visited with our state legislators and some of the agencies there. Eddie Hopkins is our chair for this year. He heads up the Jasper Economic Development Corporation. And then Lonnie Hunt with the DECCOG was with us. And then we have been back to attend a fireside chat with Governor Abbott and Robert Allen. And Secretary of State Ruth Hughes called me and she said, Nancy, with your appointment, you must come by my office and get your picture made in front of Stephen F. Austin. So that is why that picture is taken there. So, and then the bottom photograph is the group in the Governor's Office of Economic Development and Tourism. Those are the folks that work the projects, and those are the folks that I take great pride in making sure that they know what our region is all about, and they don't forget that we are here and that we don't get lost in the shuffle. So let's talk a little bit about regionalism. This is one of my favorite quotes. You know, you hear rising tide raises all boats. Well, what happens when you don't have a boat? You know, where is the support for those that don't even have a boat? And I feel like sometimes in Deep East Texas, there are those out there that don't even have a boat. So we always want to keep in mind that we all rise up when we lift others. And there's a lot to be said about the power of telling our story. So I would encourage each of you to step up the plate and think about regionalism in a different way and about how effective it is. Nacogdoches is one of our key players in the region, and there are a lot of people that come to Nacogdoches to shop and to support and to work. Here are some stats on a rural impact. Out of our 196 out of our 254 counties in Texas are considered rural. And our rural population exceeds 3.6 million, and that's 13% of the Texas population. Contributes to $12 billion of agriculture to the Texas GDP. When they were talking about redistricting and based upon the number of people, my question is, well, if it takes a farmer and his family with all of these acreages to feed a family of 4 in a condo, Why is it that that region has more representatives? Because we need the land to feed everybody. So agriculture is huge. I wish there were a different way to measure how many representatives we have based on something else other than just population. We're still working on that. I don't know that there's a solution to that, but we will work on it moving forward. The middle, let's see, that's another picture from the high school students for the East Texas Manufacturing Alliance that we were involved in. All of our partners, including NEDCO, the city and the county were supportive of that event. The middle top, the top photo with the scissors, if you can look closely, this is a ribbon cutting, talking about regionalism, this is a ribbon cutting in Newton County. The lady there is trying to get their chamber started. And she said, I really wish I had a big pair of scissors for my grand opening. So Kelly and Wayne talked to the chamber, and the chamber loaned her these great big scissors, and she was thrilled to death. So that was part of expressing and helping celebrate new jobs coming in other counties. Then there's just a list, and you'll all get a copy of this on the recording. If you want it separately, just let Kelly or myself know. But value of thinking regionally in Deep East Texas. We're regional in nature. We share the same assets. We have the same target audience. We have similarities. And of course, thankfully, we have differences. And that's what makes us unique when we're out telling our stories. And we can sure accomplish more when we work together. This is a copy I put in our board books. It's 4 agreements. I won't read it, all of it to you today, but it's something to keep in mind, and I like to share with people. Is always remember to be impeccable with your word. Don't take anything personally. Don't make assumptions, and always do your best. And I see Nacogdoches County always doing and trying to do your best, and I am just so pleased to be one of you. And hopefully we can work together. Not hopefully, we're going to work together better on many projects moving forward. And we're here to help, and we're here to serve. So I hope you will always know that you have a partner in us to call on at any point in time. So thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. And if you have any other questions, I'd be glad to answer those. Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy. We're open to questions for Nancy. I will say her website is a good source for demographics and other economic development data. So check out their website as well. Did anyone have a question or comment for Nancy?
I have just one question. This is Lenola White from School of Social Work. Recently, the Office on Management and Budget has discussed the possibility of changing the definition of rural by increasing the population. Is that going to affect us in these rural areas as far as, funding, or, I mean, how is that going to impact your agency as well as some of these other rural agencies that really depend on that definition of rurality?
Correct. And I'll have to get an update on where that stands. I do know the group that I was mentioning earlier, the Texas Rural Practitioners, several were very involved with putting together some statements on how we felt like that rural needed to be defined. It will affect us. To what degree, I don't know. But when they do change that definition, that will change some of the levels of requirements and eligibility. But to what extent, I'm not for sure yet. I will get an update on that and get it back to everyone. But thank you. And if you'll send me your email, I can either get back with you directly or get back with the chamber.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Nancy. We appreciate the information and the work that you and your group does for East Texas. Moving on, I don't see Dr. Scott Gordon on our list. If he is one of the callers that would like to come in and give an SFA report, he is welcome to do that. So we'll just go ahead and move on because I do believe our city manager, Mr. Mario Canizares, is with us. City manager, would you like to give an update?
I sure can, Kelly. Thank you. Thank you for having me. I don't know what's going on with my camera, but I am here. Just a couple of things to report. City Council does meet tonight. They are going to be looking at appointing a new city attorney. So once that all gets done, we'll obviously make that announcement publicly, but wanted to share that with the group. And then we're gearing towards our next council meeting next Tuesday. So which will be Mayor Brophy's last full council meeting before that transitions over to a new mayor, Jimmy Mize. So looking forward to that. Otherwise, and I don't know if Jessica's going to cover it, but we did have our wine swirl, or maybe Sherry may cover it. We had our wine swirl this weekend. Very successful, very happy to have people out and about. I participated along with my wife and some friends participated in it, and it was a really great event with great weather. It seems like everyone was having a good time, especially after tasting several types of wines from around the state. So that was even better to see, but just happy that our events are kicking off in 2021. And we hope to continue having those things and those activities for the betterment of our community. That's all I have. And I wish Wayne the best and hopefully for a speedy recovery. Just wanted to pass that on.
Thank you very much for all of that. Any questions for our city manager? We will move on to our EDC's president and CEO, Larissa Philpott. I believe Larissa is on the call.
I think she was. She received a call. She just texted me that she needed to come off. So she may come back on, but she needed to step away for just a little bit. And so I just wanted to pass that on. Sorry about that.
No, that's fine. That's fine. We'll look for her if she rejoins. We can move on to a hospitality industry update from Sherry Cheney Morgan, the Executive Director of Visit Nacogdoches.
Good morning, Kelly. Good morning, everybody. This past Friday, we had sort of a milestone moment for us. We had our first postponed event. It was a group of over 50 East Texas nurses that were supposed to come visit us back in October and had to postpone. And so we finally got them here, and it was supposed to be an outdoor event, and the Rains had a different idea. So Friday night, they partied on the main floor of the Charles Bright Visitor Center while Junior Forum did some scholarship interviews in the basement. So we had a full house on Friday, and they had a great time here in Nacogdoches. Shout out to Joanna Temple for organizing that group and keeping up with them from the postponement through the pandemic to finally seeing their event through to fruition. So great job, as always, Joanna. A lot of those nurses stayed the next day for Main Street, Jessica and Bethany's great event, Wine Swirl. It was a different time of year for us. Usually that's a February event, and we've had a time change in the shuffling of it to April. So it was just kind of a different vibe, but it was great to see people out in the streets and having a great time, coming together. It was long overdue. It did generate some questions for the CVB about when we will be having, or if we will be bringing back our classic wine, whiskey, and brew tours, and the answer is yes. So those are in the works right now. We'll be bringing those back for those that enjoy those. We had a travel blogger come through Nacogdoches, and her article was published in Travel Awaits, and she highlighted lots of our newer amenities in town as well as our classics. And that can be linked for anybody that is interested in reading it. Our next Snack Friday is April the 23rd. Full Moon Concert Series. The first concert will be on May 29th. And then the second one will be on July 24th. And those tickets are now on sale, $10 for adults, $5 for children. And then just in the world of Visit Nacogdoches, growing and thriving. March, we had just a flagship month. Our website usage doubled, as did our subscribers to our Visit Nac app. So we're really proud of that. Shout out to Ashley for managing our creative content and all of our social media. But as always, thank you for everything that you do individually to make Nacogdoches a great place for people to come and visit.
Great place to live too, because I get to enjoy all that fun stuff, right? Thank you, Sherry. Did anyone have any questions for Sherry? Okay, I see Mr. Gary Lee Ashcraft's on the call with us, ready to give us a social services update.
Yep, I am. Here I am for the United Way. Thank you, Roger Lindsay. We have a full blast campaign going on already, and we are in the campaign season. Kenny Rena, our campaign chair, and Caroline are working hard with me to get us ready for a rollout, if you will, at our next board meeting, which will be on April 26th. So you'll be hearing more detail about the campaign. We have a special part of the campaign that's geared for smaller businesses that I think everybody's going to be excited about, and we'll tell you more about that in a future meeting. It's really cool, and that's a brainchild of Kenny. We've got I think I reported this already, but we managed to pick up a grant from the United Ways of Texas that will be 100% distributed to Love Inc. That's one of our agencies that folks, the snow event, I call it, or snow eclipses, or however you say that, ain't over. There's a lot of folks out there that when they couldn't pay their utility bill, or when they couldn't work, primarily they were laid off or whatever, it spiraled them downward. And so we're trying to capture that and capture those folks. The 9,000 is to help Love Inc. and Patty and her team to pay for some of these plumbing bills and utilities and things like that. So I wanted to shout that out, and that was United Ways of Texas. And tell Nancy Windham I'm about to call her, because she's got a lot of good grant ideas that she said she'd share with me, and it seemed like I'd be calling her pretty quick. Parker Hannafin, there's a grant we hope we get that's for our operations of about 9,000 or so, and that would be for our operations. All our events are on go. Day of Caring coming up. I've told you about the Do Dat Barbecue. Everybody's all fired up about that. You can go to Do Dat Barbecue on our Facebook page and see all of the chatter about it. It'll be held at the airport on September 25th, because the expo, everybody jumped out of the gate, and that thing is booked. Greg Sal told me, Judge Sal told me last night, a couple of weeks ago, he was going, why didn't you have it at the expo? I said, man, it's booked. And he told me last night, he said, you were right. So there's a lot of excitement. Everybody wants to get out and do. And so we hope we know we're going to have a lot of Do Dat people at the Do Dat Barbecue. I think that is all I want to talk about today. I'm probably forgetting something. Thank you for having us, and live united.
Did anybody have any questions for our Nacogdoches Area United Way President and CEO? If not, Ms. Diane Amarin is the director of the Angelina College Small Business Development Center, is on our call with us. Any updates you'd like to share?
Well, I just wanted to share with you some statistics, which I know can be boring, but I think that they're impactful and interesting about the Texas Gulf Coast region of SBDC, which includes 32 counties. So it is much bigger than what we're talking about. So that's part of the reason the numbers are big. But 2020 was such a hard year in so many ways. I thought this would be encouraging to you to know that in the Gulf Coast region for 2020, there were added 5,539 jobs. And it produced $28.2 million in taxes. Startup and expansion capital of $208 million. New sales of I think I have a number wrong there. I'm not going to give that number out, but the return on sales was for what we did was $6.43 for every dollar spent. Employment growth was 7.2% and sales growth 8.9%. So that's pretty interesting that it wasn't quite, I mean, it's just shocking when your numbers are not what you want them to be, but I thought those were pretty impressive numbers as a group. Wanted to mention some of the funding opportunities that are out there. The Texas Mezzanine Fund, TMF, it's economic support for African American businesses and for nonprofits in Texas adversely impacted by the effects of COVID-19. The PPP has been extended to May 31st, and the Restaurant Revitalization Grant opened April the 8th. However, they had trouble with the portal and it closed. But if you have, people in the restaurant business who need a grant, those funds will go quickly, but they can either Google that up with SBA or call our office and we'll be glad to assist with that, or I'm sure the chamber would too. Just on a future note, although this is not for, I just want to share this because this is something that SBA does. In May, Angelina College SBDC is going to be cooperating with Polk County Chamber of Commerce and doing an open house. And we do those for various chambers in the area. So I just wanted to let you know that that is something that we do to involve the community and let people know of our services. We still do have our independent contractors through the CARES Act through September 30th to assist with marketing and financial evaluations and assistance with some of these guidance in some of these grants and loans. So that's all I have for today, Kelly. Thanks for asking me to be here.
Well, thank you for attending, and I think you wouldn't mind if I just mentioned if anyone on this call is doing business with a local business that seems to need a little direction or help or just has questions about small business operations, you guys are always available, correct?
That's right. Thank you so much. We're happy to assist in any way we can.
Did anyone have any questions for Diane before we move on? All right, I see Jessica Sal, our communications director and Main Street director, on the call for the city. Would you like to give us an update, Jessica?
Absolutely. So like Mario and Sherry were so nice to point out, we did have Wine Swirl last weekend in downtown Nacogdoches, so I won't talk about it too much, but it was a big success. We appreciate everybody coming out. And as a reminder, Wine Swirl, it's a fun event, but it's also the fundraiser for the Main Street Department. So all the money we raise during that goes to our fun downtown projects like murals, helping with sign grants, putting those beautiful lights in the Christmas trees, and then lighting up downtown for the holiday season. So we appreciate y'all supporting that. But on the COVID front, which is the other part of my job currently, other than planning large events, I'm sure everybody has seen through Facebook and the news and things like that this morning that the FDA did pause the use of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. There are some concerns over blood clots and things like that in a small group, but FDA and the CDC has said, kind of out of an abundance of caution, they're going to pause that vaccine rollout for right now. We did have about a little over 300 people scheduled for Johnson & Johnson vaccines at our shot clinic tomorrow. And so we are going to be working to reschedule them. Of course, we still have an abundance of Moderna vaccines in Nacogdoches, so there's no lack of vaccines here. It's just, I know some people have wanted to do one vaccine versus another. So we are working on rescheduling those people that signed up for Johnson & Johnson vaccines. We'll be reaching out to them through email and a phone call and encouraging them to call and reschedule their appointments for a Moderna vaccine. As of right now, we have sufficient vaccines that are arriving weekly with our allocations. They've become pretty regular, which is great for our area. And everyone over 18 is eligible and can sign themselves up. You don't have to go through a doctor, a clinic, anything like that. The way you sign up is by calling our vaccine call center. The hours do vary. They're open today till 3 o'clock to schedule for the vaccine clinic tomorrow. Their number, and I'll put this in the chat as well, But their number is 936-305-8488, and they're open today till 3. Or at any time, you can go to a website link. It's Sign Up Genius, and you can sign yourself up for a vaccine. And that link is tinyurl.com/vacnac. And they have all the appointments available right now. The Johnson & Johnson ones are being taken off. And so we will have quite a few Moderna appointments still available. So they're available in town. We're just going to pause the Johnson & Johnson for now until the FDA gives us the go-ahead. So that's where we're at right now, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Jessica. Any questions for?
Yeah, I've got one, Jessica, and you may have mentioned this, and there's just a personal reason for this, but what is the official mask policy? Is it no mask outside, mask inside, mask upside down? I don't know.
Well, per the governor, the city and county are not mandating masks, and the governor has kind of said there's no mask mandate for the state of Texas. Individual businesses can make that decision for themselves because they're privately owned and operated. So Gary Lee, if you want to say inside a United Way building, you have to wear a mask, that is up to you because that is your business in your building. As far as the city goes, our staff are still wearing masks when we're in our offices, and we encourage the public to do so when you come to visit us if we can't do that 6-foot socially distanced work environment. And so it kind of varies business to business. When the governor made his order a few months ago, it just gave the option back to the businesses. And so we've kind of seen across the board, some have still rigorously enforced it, and some have pulled it back and kind of left it up to their customers.
Thank you, Jessica. Appreciate it.
Welcome.
Hey, Jessica, so did you want the media to do anything at all concerning the Johnson & Johnson availability or the rescheduling, or would you rather just handle that with the personal emails to those that are scheduled?
Right now, we have the email addresses of everyone who is scheduled in Nacogdoches County for the Johnson & Johnson. And so we are going to reach out through an email and a NACWISE call since we have all their contact information. You can always put that COVID call center line on there, that 305 that I'll put in the chat, that if they want to be proactive and call us, we can reschedule them. But we are planning on reaching out to each of them individually and then taking off those Johnson & Johnson spots so we don't have anybody else sign up.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions for Jessica? I did not mean to skip over, but I do not see on the call our Office of the Governor representation, Ms. Betty Rousseau. Betty, if you're on the call, please jump in if you have a report. And unless we hear from Betty, we do want to have a special announcement time for our call sponsor, that is Burke, and Kenny Rena is on the call. So I believe she has something she'd like to share on behalf of her business.
Just a quick little note. As you guys know, Burke's the mental health authority for our region, our Deep East Texas region. And I wanted to give a little note that Friday is Stress Awareness Day. So normally that's the day after tax day, but this year it's the day before. So just a special note for Stress Awareness Day this week. And for that, I'm doing a presentation today to eTech on stress awareness and mental health, and that's to their leadership and how they can help their employees. And I think that's awesome that it's we're all under different kinds of stress now in this year and last year. And so just taking time out for that. So if anyone's interested in that kind of presentation for your workplace, let me know and we can set that up for you with Burke and our Burke therapists. So thanks so much.
Thank you, Kenny, and thank you to all of our presenters. I just have a couple of quick announcements from the Chamber. We do have quite a bit going on ourselves. In fact, if you're interested in learning more about vaccination in the workplace, the Chamber, along with the Nacogdoches EDC, are bringing another part of the series webinar, which is free of charge and available through GoToMeeting. Vaccines in the Workplace, Preparing Your Business. And that will happen on Thursday at around 8:30 a.m. We also will be celebrating with SFA's Music Preparatory Division with a live stream ribbon cutting on Thursday at 10 a.m. And they are celebrating their 40th anniversary, but they're also making some announcements. So you want to definitely join Facebook Live and hear what they have to say on Thursday. We are really in the throes of blueberry right now. And that's with a lot of folks in Nacogdoches. So there are a lot of city partners and volunteers that make this happen. And I'll direct your attention to this corner of my office. These are larger than they look posters for the Texas Blueberry Festival presented by Tipton Ford and the Blueberry Bluegrass Concert in the Park presented by Rex Perry Autoplex. Those beautiful color copies that you can decorate your offices and lobbies and break rooms are available here at the Chamber free of charge. So please come by and pick some up and help us promote the tastiest festival in Texas and a beautiful blueberry celebration in Nacogdoches that happens the second weekend in June. We'll see you there. We want to thank Burke again for sponsoring the call, and we want to thank you for attending, and we're wishing you all a good and prosperous week ahead. We are adjourned.